Alright, so I said in the last way too early AFL trade video, there was just so much that I'm kind of splitting these into two big parts. There's been so much AFL trade news and talk as of late that I couldn't put it in one video, or that would have been genuinely longer than Zack Snyder's Justice League movie. So we're breaking it into two parts here. Again, a lot of the last video talked about a bit about Carlton, all of the above. Again, I'm going to start off with something a little bit different here, and this is actually a little bit more of a rumor that's going around right now. Again, a lot of the stuff I talk about in these videos is really big trade talk from massive journalists like Mitch Cleary, Cal Toomey, John Ralph, whoever it might be. But there's been a lot of talk about this on the internet as of late, and it's actually the report and recent rumors that Clayton Oliver could still be on the trade block, and is actually still, getting some interest from other teams. Again, a post here actually says, should the Giants look to bring in someone like Clayton Oliver to add midfield depth? Now, have the Giants been really linked to Clayton Oliver yet? No. If we're going to look at the actual facts here, the teams who have been interested and linked to Clayton Oliver have been the Geelong Football Club and Adelaide Football Club. Again, in 2023, it was revealed that Clayton Oliver had a really great connection with some medical staff actually at the Adelaide Football Club and was very interested in potentially going to them. Again, not an official trade request or anything like that, and a deal didn't really end up happening. Geelong were the next one. In 2024, we know that Clayton Oliver officially met reportedly with some people from Geelong actually at Reece Stanley's farm, which is funny. Out of all the players, it was Reece Stanley. Again, there were some reports that there was an inside trade request that didn't end up happening. Geelong couldn't get the salary cap to do it. Melbourne wouldn't pay any of his deal. All of the above. Again, could GWS be the third club in the third year that maybe is interested in Clayton Oliver? Again, I could maybe see it. The issue is that GWS are just so tied up with a lot of the players they're paying. And from all reports, Whitfield, I think, is on about 900 to $1 million, something like that. Callaghan is definitely on $1 million, especially with the talk that we heard of what St Kilda were going to offer him. Josh Kelly is, I think, on about 800 to $1 million. Toby Green will be on something very similar. Aaron Cadman just signed a really big contract. Again, there are probably players that we don't even really know, like Sam Taylor, who's probably on a fair bit of cash. So if we're going to look at the absolute facts here, Clayton Oliver is on about $1.3 million, it is being said. And if we're going to take anything from the last couple of off seasons, Melbourne don't seem to be too interested in paying any of his salary at the moment, and would just prefer for him to keep playing for the club. So if they're not going to pay any of his salary, I mean, especially considering it makes sense now because he's actually playing some okay footy and his brand has gotten a bit better. It's like, well, how would they be able to do this? Again, GWS will have the assets to maybe go and do this, but there's no way they're going to be able to forklift $1.3 million out. So this is not going to happen, in my opinion, unless something were to massively change with, of course, the GWS Football Club and their salary cap. I want to call it issues, but freeing up some money, and also Melbourne maybe paying. Again, one report here as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if this officially happens by the time making this video, but it's being said that Harley Reid's management has begun contract talks with the West Coast Eagles. An intriguing update on Harley Reid's situation. Harley's management have presented some options to the West Coast Eagles about what an extension might look like, including a very long-term commitment to the club. Conversations haven't advanced at this stage. Parties expected to catch up in coming weeks. Now, the reason we have kind of been hearing about this, and this was actually revealed by Caroline Wilson out of all people literally a couple of days ago as well, is that the teams and their offers to Harley Reid have gotten so big that the West Coast Eagles now are really finally starting to see what the market of Harley Reid actually looks like and what teams are willing to offer. And from what Caroline Wilson have said, the contract offers are reportedly insane and are going to be about $1.5 million per year. Again, we all knew this was coming. The fact that West Coast could be looking at a long-term deal with Harley Reid really does make me think as well that he's getting massive long-term deals from other teams that if he was to re-sign with the Eagles now, it would low-key kind of have to be just to give him a reason to maybe turn down the offers he's been getting. Again, we know that these are going to start off probably pretty small. He's probably going to be getting paid 800 to $1 million in his first couple years. But by the time he gets to probably like an 8th to 10th year, we could be seeing like $2 million a year on a really back-ended contract. And that makes a lot of sense to me, especially considering in 2031, the AFL salary cap is going to be going up by a massive amount. It's believed it could be going up by about 30 to 45%, which is absolutely insane. Again, that's when the new deal with whatever TV network it will be will officially happen, meaning that, again, starting now in 2025, 2026, you're going to see a lot of players get really long-term deals that are going to be very back-ended, and that's what Harley Reid's going to be looking at. Again, we've heard Caroline Wilson say that he's not going to be looking at teams that are struggling. Some names she mentioned do happen to be St Kilda, Melbourne, and Essendon. Again, I think she left Richmond off the table because I think Richmond would low-key be the exception. I mean, I wouldn't even say Richmond are struggling. They were said to be the team that wins no games this year. People were tipping them to win no games. And all of a sudden, they've come out, and at the time of making this video, they've won 5, which is absolutely insane, and no one thought they were going to do. So realistically, it looks like that in a couple years for Richmond, they'll probably be contending for finals again, probably in about 3 years. So, Harley Reid, I don't think he probably considers Richmond to be a struggling team, which makes a whole lot of sense. Again, at the end of the day, though, I think he's going to re-sign with West Coast here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this has already happened by the time making this video, which is interesting, and I thought I'd still talk about those other things because this is just what teams are valuing him at and what teams are offering. These are the teams that are interested in him, whether he re-signs or not. Again, will he like any of them? We don't know, but the reality is that all signs are pointing towards Harley Reid re-signing. He seems to actually like it at the moment. He and Andrew McQualter seem like they're absolutely getting along. Again, he knows that West Coast are going to have pick 1 in this year's draft and now pick 2 because of Oscar Allen leaving and them getting a priority pick for that, which again is already basically confirmed. They're actually like getting a lot of picks and a lot of assets. I mean, they really suck right now, but they're probably promising him a pretty strong future. And I mean, they're promising him to be the face of a whole entire state, which is just something that, how can you deny? Like being a face of, what do they have in WA? 4 million people, something like that. He's going to be the face of freaking 4 million people in sport. That is just insane. Like crazy stuff. So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how that, of course, all does unfold. Another report here, and I kind of wanted to leave this till last, because not last just yet, but I feel like this guy's probably going to re-sign, but it is being said that Pies have their eyes on Jack Silvani. Collingwood has emerged as a shock suitor for Carlton free agent and favourite son, Jack Silvani. The Herald Sun can reveal the Magpies have expressed interest in the 194cm defender as part of a plan to bolster the club's defensive stocks for next season. Again, I don't know how this is going to happen. I feel like the only reason Silvani would leave is if it's for a guaranteed 3-year deal and for a little bit more money. And this is why I thought St Kilda were going to be a very interesting team. They were going to offer that deal, I think, but they're getting Lee Lear now. They're getting Tom de Koning. They're probably looking at a couple other players. I don't know how and if that is going to work, but at the end of the day, yeah, I can't see Jack Silvani going to Collingwood, but it is really interesting to know that they're interested, and the fact is that they're interested means teams maybe have a sniff that he could be leaving, especially if they're interested this, late in the season. So I hope he low-key doesn't leave. By the time this video comes out, he may have re-signed. So I low-key, hope he doesn't re-sign, I should say, at the time of making this video, because I like this one to come out and you guys hear my thoughts and opinions. But as I just said, he's probably very likely to re-sign any second. Again, The real interesting news, though, is one saying that the D's are trying to bring back Joe Daniher. Melbourne and Simon Goodwin are attempting to convince Joe Daniher to make a return to the AFL. This is being reported by Mitch Cleary. Again, we know the Sydney Swans earlier in the year have kind of made this pitch as well, so it is kind of interesting that for teams to be making this type of pitch, it must mean there is something going on, or some little sense or a little sniff that this maybe could be happening, but I just don't think so. I mean, the reality is that I think he lives on the border of New South Wales, border of Queensland, and he used to drive like 2 hours, 3 hours a day apparently to training, which is just absolutely insane. Again, I could only see him going to Brisbane, going back to them, or going to Sydney. I mean, why would he go to Melbourne? Like, he'd have to move back to Melbourne. It just doesn't sound like him. It sounds very out of character, and I don't think that is the direction he's going to go. So, yeah, I can't see him leaving at all. Again, one last thing I should maybe talk about before I end this video was, I think these are fake, because there's been a lot of rumors on Twitter, X video thing, whatever you want to call it, as of late, saying that Josh Gibcus could be on the move from Richmond and that there are teams interested in him, specifically West Coast and Gold Coast. But I'm pretty sure this was spread by like a fake account, just a joke account and all this. So I just wanted to clarify that I'm pretty sure this is fake and I don't think this is happening, but wouldn't it be funny? I'm just going to mention it just in case, because Richmond do have a ton of key defenders, just in case that by the end of the season, maybe a team or two floats the idea out there to him, which would be crazy considering how much Richmond have really rehabbed his injuries and tried to get him back up to his best. So that would be insane if true, but I don't think it is. So we won't go on that one too much. Again, that's pretty much all the trades. A lot of news. I pretty much just recorded 30 minutes of trade talk in one night. Go check out my previous video if you haven't already. There's a lot of interesting stuff in that one as well. Again, don't forget to leave a like on this video though to let me know you enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel for all the latest sports content, AFL content, all of the above. Again, subscribe to my gaming/movie channel. I've been posting a lot more videos on there as of late as well. And follow me on Instagram, which will be getting linked down below. But yeah, as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.